Hi, I'm Haley Bell, and this is the Cozy Craft Zone. Let's get crafting. So this is what you're making today. Is a cute little Mary sign. So what you're gonna need is a board, the sign, a fabric piece, and some tumbling blocks from the Dollar Tree. So I got the sign and the tumbling blocks from the Dollar Tree, but I got the fabric and the board I already had. So this made this really inexpensive. The tumbling blocks and the Mary sign were $1 each. So I'm going to outline the wood piece and then do the fabric. I'm intentionally cutting it a lot farther out because I want to be able to wrap the fabric around the piece of wood. So you see I'm kind of measuring it, making sure it looks good. And then we are going to put that to the side in just a minute. Or not. Just kidding. We're not putting that to the side yet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are doing I forgot I did this first. So the hot glue, I'm just hot gluing the entire thing down. So I left the overlay because I'm going to be wrapping the sides down for the fabric. So a technique that I found worked really well is hot gluing it in very small sections, because when I did it all the way across, it actually hardened faster than I was able to put it down. So I had to fix that. But we'll see here on the side, because these two sides are going to be exposed. When I put the sides down, these are going to wrap around the side that you're going to see, and I wanted it to look really nice instead of being a harsh line that ends abruptly with the fabric at the edge of the corner, the piece of wood. So I'm wrapping it, hot gluing it down, and then for the other two sides, I will actually be cutting those down because they will be covered by these tumbling blocks. So the next part that we are going to do is we are going to paint and make the frame for the piece of wood with tumbling blocks. So these are little like small Jenga pieces. If you guys have never seen these before at the Dollar Tree, they come during Christmas time in a really big package, so you can get a ton of them in one little container. So we're just hot gluing these together. You want to measure it out first. My boards ended up taking like 7 1/4 of these tumbling blocks, so I did have to cut down one of them to fit it perfectly, but I'm just gluing them all together, making sure they're nice and tight. With hot glue, whenever you're using that with wood, you want to make sure it's nice and secure and really in the grain of the wood, and that will hold it the best. So here I'm just measuring it, making sure that it actually fit the right way and whatnot. I also do what I call a hot glue cleanup, and that is where I go through the piece that I have hot glued and get all of the excess that has squeezed, whichever one of those, out the sides, and I get that all off once it's already dry. So I'm going to do it nice and dark. I'm going to be painting it with burnt umber color from Apple Blossom. I just wanted that to be really, really dark because these are going to be acting as a frame. So I do this twice. Now this is one of my favorite parts, but it's the most time consuming, is painting the actual sign, since it is pretty time consuming, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me and my very slow attempt to paint. We're going to jump forward and it's all going to be painted. There it is! Woohoo! I did put a little holly berry on the nose because I felt like Rudolph needed to make a appearance in this craft today. So here I am just cutting off the excess of the board because I want to make sure that the fabric lays really, really nice on the back, so it's not creating bumps and gonna not sit on the wall really well. So I'm getting rid of any of that excess, and then any of the excess on the sides of the board with the fabric. I'm getting rid of these because these two sides are going to be the sides that are covered by the tumbling blocks that are glued together to make the frame. So I'm just getting rid of the excess on this side. What I did find is that a rotor cutter would have worked much better here, but I didn't have one at the time. I have one now, yay! I actually bought one at the Dollar Tree that worked shockingly well. I used it last night for the very first time to make the sister of this image, or of this craft, which is the same process but with different fabric and the peace sign that is being sold at the Dollar Tree. But the rotor cutter would work a lot better for that, but you know, you use what you got. So go ahead and glue those Jenga pieces down, or tumbling block pieces. And then here is, I tried hot gluing this sign down. I could not get it down fast enough to get the hot glue to stick. So it didn't work. So we have to try again. And I had to just use E6000, which ended up working the best. So I use it very sparingly. I just go over each of the letters and get it down, and then push pretty hard, hold it, and then we are done with that. So the last thing is you need to have something to get it on the wall. Instead of using a painter's hook, which would have worked really, really well, and my husband actually has asked if I would go back and do it with a painter's hook, but I really like the look of the jute twine because it goes totally along with the farmhouse look. And so I just do a little knot in the wood, or in the jute twine, so that it fits really well. And then I have the hot glue. Now I'm going to cover each of those with a little scrap of the fabric so that it just looks a little bit better, not just like this piece of hot glued jute twine that's hanging out in the back. So it has a little bit more of an anchor too. And that is the complete finished product. This hangs on the side of my entertainment area. My TV is right next to it. And I just really like the way that it turned out. It's very, very cute.